It's been nearly 2 months since Joey Barton stepped on a football pitch. Don't you miss him? The filthy tackles, the insane mannerisms, the constant lunacy. Am I the only one? Probably, yeah, because he's more unpopular in this country than Donald Trump. What do you mean he won? To me, Barton was an interesting character on the pitch. But on Twitter, the man is offended, castigated, pilloried, basted, criticised, slagged, condemned, harangued, admonished, and objurgated enough people to last both of our lifetimes. But let's have a look at some of his more interesting Twitter spats. Spoilers, none of them are interesting. Hey Joey, have you ever thought about comparing one of the world's greatest players to cat piss? No? Well, it might be an idea to do it. It definitely won't come back to haunt you, when he's attending Ballon d'Or ceremonies, admittedly with Oddjob's hat, and you're getting booted out of football at the age of 34, with one cap to your name, and your only experience of Champions League football being in front of the television. Joey Barton has been suspended for many things. One of the more farcical ones would be when he abused Thiago Silva, a defender who had never even heard of him. Sure, why would he? I don't think they broadcast English relegation battles in France. Thiago Silva, that's the same that's been injured all season. Another overrated Brazilian. Sort your hamstrings out, fat boy. Oh yeah. Are you pre-op or post-op? Hashtag transsexual. Hashtag Thiago's a lady boy. Yeah, that doesn't look like a tweet that you would expect to find on a grown man's social media page. It looks more like something you'd find scribbled beside a crude drawing of a in a schoolboy bathroom. The French FA banned him for 2 games for that, with the comments having offended both PSG and gay rights activists. It gets worse. Remember that time that Barton used Jamie Tandy's eye as an ashtray during his Man City youth days? With Tandy blaming Barton years later for his life spiraling out of control, Barton showed him little sympathy. Reason he never made it was he was simply overweight and lacked desire and talent. Nobody to blame but himself. I'm sure having a cigar driven into his eye socket didn't really help matters though. Burnley's hotshot striker was in a bit of bother earlier this season, when a few of his tweets were dug up from a few years back. Barton though was straight in to defend his mate. I know Andre Gray as well as anyone, and he is 100% not homophobic. One of the nicest lads you could meet. Is it me, or are there gays everywhere? Hashtag burn, hashtag die, hashtag makes me sick. Always know you're onto a winner when a man who once advocated the purge of homosexuals is getting a character reference from someone who went to jail for beating up a kid outside McDonald's. Joey Barton and Karl Henry were never the best of friends, having had ongoing battles throughout the years, both on the pitch and in the press. Think Conor McGregor and Nate Diaz, only if nobody gave an ounce of a Anyway, after Barton's QPR beat Henry's Wolves 3-0 in September 2011, I bet you Kelvin Henry feels like an idiot again today. He should keep his trap firmly shut. Sunday League player. Who's Kelvin Henry? He should concentrate more on playing and less on talking a good game. You can't make this up. See, the trouble with making enemies with everyone in this sport is that after a while you're going to end up having to work with them at some stage. So, a bit awkward when QPR signed Karl Henry. I'll just reiterate for a lot of the buffoons tweeting me, I will not be playing in the championship next season. Hope that clears it up. 3 months later, that would be Joey Barton playing in the championship. Give Joey Barton a keyboard, a couple of hands and a political conflict, and there's gonna be some headlines. This time he waded into the conflict between Gaza and Israel in 2014. Because naturally all I was missing was for the UN to call on the opinions of QPR's 6th best player. If this was anybody else but Israel, the West would intervene. It cannot continue. Alright, so I wonder if anyone else is gonna respond. It's his old teammate Benny Yoon popping in for a chat. Mate. Oh, that was nice. Things can never change. You have been stupid. Never mind. And you will stay stupid all your life. Embarrassing. And it all started so promising. Alright, so Barton has done his best to offend pretty much everyone. But if you think the likes of Millwall fans are scary, Christ, sugared up teenagers with a keyboard and a threatened pop star are terrifying. I'd rather flush my head down the toilet daily than be a believer. He's a smack addiction waiting to happen. Oh, Joey, don't you know what you've just done? If you thought Kelvin Henry was bad, who's Kelvin Henry? You haven't seen anything yet.
Why are you trolling a teenage boy? It's slightly better than just beating one up outside McDonald's. Just jealous because you're a football player that any make it in the Premier League anymore. There's nothing wrong with being a believer. At least I'd happily flush your head down the toilet daily for you. FYI, you're quite clearly haven't watched Never Say Never. Justin Bieber is one talent. You stood upset about how Beckham boxed you the other night, Joey. Hashtags. Are you going for the biggest award for 2030? He's more famous than you boring. Better career than you'll ever have, you cocky. Why don't you just put a cigar out in his eye? You're a clown, Joe. Shut the fuck up, Barton. Bella. Justin Bieber is like, who is Joey Barton? Better person than you'll ever be. That pathetic and low that you pick on people younger than you. Shut up, mug. Nothing wrong with Justin Bieber. Is you. What the fuck is your problem, you stupid? Do you think your fans feel? Oh wait, this is all. Stop being a bully. Leave the kid alone. I'd rather be a believer any day than a fan of you. You face hate. Proud to be a believer. Okay, you're just a bit.
In May 2013, former Birmingham City footballer turned boxer Curtis Woodhouse ended up tracking down a Twitter troll who'd branded him a laughable joke and waited outside his house. Yeah, no better way to keep your credibility in check than to stalk any random lad off the internet who gives you a bit of abuse. Please don't come to my door. Barton predictably offered his support. I'm not an advocate of violence, ha ha ha, but what Woodhouse Curtis has just done is hilarious. Another big mouth left with shitty undies. There was a time where he had a go at Matt Holland's international career for the Republic of Ireland, capped 49 times due to his grandmother being from Monaghan. That wasn't good enough for Barton though, who no doubt has his 12 minutes of international cap framed right above his championship medals and court summons. This is the saltiest video ever. If you're English, you play for England. If you're English and you pretend your Irish grandparentage matters to you and play for Ireland. It's actually quite hard finding something Joey Barton has not said. There's only a finite amount of words in the English language. So of course this gem popped up when in June 2012, Barton was asked to choose between the Glaswegian sides. I'm a Celtic fan. Celtic fan. Celtic fan. Celtic fan. So didn't really get off to the best start with the Rangers, or middle, or end. As we all know, Barton spent 4 years at Newcastle, and aside from spending 3 months of that behind bars, attacking opponents, criticising the club's hierarchy, and the record goal scorer, went rather smoothly. The tune must have lost. My timeline is filled with Sunderland fans getting excited. Well done, maybe you'll get bats now. Hashtag unwashed. It's 2017. Who above the age of 10 years old has a bath anymore? Yeah, I said it. Players who roll around when nobody touches them should be subsequently banned. I hate cheats.
I hate cheats.
Oh. There was that time Barton had his lawyers working overtime when he spent the evening calling Dimar Haman a maggot, a dog, a cokehead, and so much more. Their spat was basically as long as the Bible, so I'm not going to read out the whole thing. I'd actually like to go to sleep tonight. But let's take a look at the highlights. Spoilers, there are no highlights when it comes to two grown men bickering like 14-year-old girls. Joseph, I won't get personal as Twitter is not the place to do that, but don't think you are bigger than you. Before you get fully emptied out publicly, you blurt. What's a blurt? You've got my number, you know where to find me 24/7. Behind his computer screen, I'd have thought. No problem, Joseph. Let's see each other in 5 years. I hope I don't have to go to Walton prison. 6 minutes earlier, Joseph, I won't get personal. Am I the only one? Don't worry, Diddy. You also said you signed for Bolton. You'll probably need a loan for your bus fare there. Was he done there? What do you think? It's Joey Barton. The pair continued on into the night, like a couple of teenagers, with Barton calling him a washed up cokehead. Okay, how about Mark Hughes then? He allowed Joey Barton to get a taste of European football by letting him go to Marseille. Yes, we all remember the f***ing accent. Surely Barton doesn't still harbour any ill will against his former boss years later. Mark Hughes is a terrible manager. Alright. Stoke are bottom of the league. Never mind. His people skills were really poor. He's just gonna die alone. But Hughes hit back, referencing Barton's upcoming book. Maybe Joey's got a self-interest at heart, maybe he needs a bit of content to fill the chapters, because he isn't gonna fill it with what he's done on the football field.
Da, 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 da. It's the one and only Digo Double G.
May 2012 was a confusing month for Joey Barton. After trying to attack half the Man City squad on the final day of the season, he took to Twitter that night to have a go at Alan Shearer, I have a better hair, and then Gary Lineker. When the latter stuck up for his match of the day colleague, asking if Barton was still raging, he responded with, do you want to go there publicly, Mr. Squeaky Clean? Think you should have a look in that vast closet of skeletons before you respond. I know a lot about that side of you, the people don't, and won't bat an eyelid at exposing you. Now back under your stone, you odious little toad. Would it not have just saved him a lot of hassle to write, yes, I am still raging? Thanks for watching, don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and make sure you check out Footy Feed for all the latest transfer rumours and news.